go, shut up! We've got to surf. No, so I went and got a hotel room. Unfortunately, I drove down a road that was paved for drug dealers. And then that was when we broke into a hotel, that legendary hotel we went to. And then we woke up in the morning, she was wearing that famous yellow bikini, and that was when the Mexican Federale came out and said, would you guys like to go whale watching? Of course, you guys know we went out on the boat, and we busted 56 tons of weed. And then, how do you think I built and owned the Belly Up? So anyways, we confiscated all the weed with the cops down there, and then I asked them what they were going to do, and they said, we're going to have a party. And as the story goes, I went back to the hotel room, and I grabbed Jewel, and I said, man, we're going to get a lot of weed from these guys. And she said, you can't take any of the weed. And the guy said, just take a kilo. And he opened up a switchblade, and I did it. He handed me it, and I gave it to a woman who was 80, and she made spaghetti sauce out of it. Now, I'm Catholic, so I didn't know that you could do that out of a pot, but I guess you can. And then, I don't mean this as any disrespect to the Mormons, because a lot of Mormon youth group came down for a spaghetti feed, and I'm only telling you what happened, is that they came down, and they had spaghetti, and Jewel told me, don't tell them. Not in a mean way, she said, just stay out of everybody's business, because she was getting worried. So I should have told the Mormons, and I'm confessing tonight, I didn't, and I watched them eat pot spaghetti, and I came out of the room at midnight, and everybody was singing Kumbaya, and it sounded so weird. It was like scary Kumbaya. No. So anyways, I was so scared of the Mormons with deep voices singing backwards Kumbaya that I said, Jewel, I'm scared to go outside. And she said, just go to sleep, forget it ever happened. But you can't forget the sound of Mormons singing backwards Kumbaya in deep voices like the devil. So anyways, I woke up in the morning, and then there were all these Mormon guys that were on their missionary, and they were laying in the water, and one of them was in his suit and tie still. And then I woke him up because the tide was coming in, and I said, hey, mister, you're going to drown. And this is a lot of years ago. And he woke up, and his hair was perfect. It was amazing. And he was sleeping next to a goat. But it wasn't anything kinky. They were just both, I think the goat ate the pot spaghetti too. And so, anyways, I woke them both up, and the goat was like, thanks a lot, Steve. And I go, goats can talk? And the goat was like, this is good weed, man. And then all of a sudden the guy woke up too, and he goes, thank you for saving my life. And he shook my hand, and he just had such a great handshake and everything. And I go, you're welcome, you should come see my band, the Rugburns. I think we're going to be playing at the Belly Up pretty soon. And he goes, I've heard of the Belly Up. We have a church near there. And I said, you should come to the Belly Up and see the Rugburns play. And he says, sounds like a great time. I go, well, if not, just keep in touch or something. One day maybe we'll run into each other again. My name is Steve Poltz. And he goes, my name's Mitt Romney. And so it was crazy because I couldn't believe that this happened. And I know a lot of people don't believe me that that was him. So I went back to the room, and his name meant nothing to me back then. But I never forgot it because it just sounded like it rolled off my tongue. So I told Jewel, I just met this guy and saved his life because he was going to drown. And she said, let's write a song. And she was still in bed, and I pulled out the guitar. And this song was written after I shook hands with him. And then he had eaten pot spaghetti, and this song was born. And it goes like this. My dad always told me never let the truth get in the way of a good story. I hear the clock and it's 6 a.m. It feels so far from where I've been. I got my eggs, I got my pancakes too. Well, I got my maple syrup, everything but you. I break the yolks, make a smiley face. I saw her reflect it in my brand new place. I wipe the spots up in the mirror, don't leave the keys in the door. I never put wet towels on the floor anymore. Dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. I called my mom, but she was out for a while. Consoled a cup of coffee, but it didn't want to talk. picked up the paper, it was more bad news. More hearts being broken, more people being used. Put on my coat in the pouring rain. I saw a movie, but it wasn't the same. It was happy, I was sad. It made me miss you oh so bad. Dreams last for so long, even after you're gone. I know that you love me, and soon I know you will see you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. I go about my business and I'm doing fine. Besides, what would you say if I had you on the line? Same old story, not much to say. Hearts are broken every day. Oh yeah. So as Martin sits there and does sound tonight, I gotta tell you, Martin, I know you traveled half the world and seen all kinds of songs and everything, but then the belly up rings the bell, you know, when they get tipped and everybody gives them big tips. This is like the best club in the world, and I know it because I play everywhere, man. I play across Canada, I play England, Scotland, Ireland, Wales, I play all through Australia, New Zealand, I've been to Singapore, Malaysia, I've been to Thailand. I've been to some good clubs, but the belly up, I'm telling you, man, it's a great club.
See ya.
And I always look forward to coming home off of the road because, you know, when you come home off the road, you can get your teeth cleaned, you see the doctor you want to see. And I remember I was driving back down the road and this song started hitting it big. And I was forever known as the guy in the Jewel video because Jewel asked me to be in the video and I wasn't wearing a shirt and I'm going like this to her face. I'm just touching it real soft. And then all of a sudden the song sells 13 million records, so the videos get played all the time. And people start recognizing me and going, that's a dude from the Jewel video. So anyways, I went over there one day and I was driving my car down the road and I was going to go to get my teeth cleaned and I realized I had a pain in my testicles. Just my right testicles, so I figured I should call the doctor because that's what you're supposed to do, and I got what's called a testicular ultrasound. And I went in and there was this nurse and she told me to get undressed, so I did. And then I laid down on this cot thing that they had and they had a TV screen up and she said, we're going to give you a testicular ultrasound. And they put this lotion on your testicles and you can see them up on a TV screen. Now this might not be proper for this show tonight for kpbs, but I gotta tell you, it's important as a guy to get your testicles checked because, you know, there is the risk of testicular cancer. So I was worried, and then when I saw my testicles up on the TV screen, I said, does this make them look smaller? And she said, no, it actually adds 10 pounds. And that sort of depressed me because then I realized my testicles, my balls were not as big as I thought they were. In fact, they were flat out little balls. But that's okay, so I was laying there and my legs spread apart, and she said, everything looks pretty good. I just gotta tell you, I'm a big fan of yours. I love what you're doing in that video with Jewel, and I can't believe you guys wrote that song on a drug bust down in Mexico. I just want to say my son likes your music a lot too, and I started sweating and I just said, I gotta get out of here, man. I had to play a show at the Belly Up, so I went to play a show at the Belly Up, and then on Sunday I went over to see the Charger game, and they were playing the Raiders, so it was like basically this huge gang fight in the stands, and everybody was drunk, and they had decided they were going to cut off beer sales by the end of the third quarter, which I understood, that's what you do. So I was waiting in line to get a beer. This is back before I had to get sober because I ran into a little trouble up there in Middletown. But back in the day when I was drinking, I was pretty good at it. You know, I was so good at it, I got kicked out of a bar called New News. You can't get kicked out of New News. Do you know how hard it is to get kicked out of New News? I did it. So anyways, I'm at the Charger game and I figure I gotta get a beer, and there's this guy in front of me. He's a Hell's Angel. He has a spider web tattoo down his elbow. He has tattooed tears down his cheek, tears of tattoos on his neck, tattoos of skulls crying on his neck, all the way down his back. He was the scariest guy I've ever seen, this big Hell's Angel. He had his arm around his girlfriend. And at that moment, he looked back at me and he goes, that's the dude from the Jewel video. And I was like, oh shoot, not this again. And he says, hey, bro, I want you to suck my old lady's breast. And I said, I don't want to suck sign your breast, Mr. Biker. You can shank me. And he said, it's okay, you can sign my old lady's breast. I said, I really don't want to. And then everybody in the beer line behind me started chanting, sign her breast! Sign her breast!
Sign her breast! Sign her breast! Sign her breast! Sign her breast! Sign her breast!
I bet KPBS never thought they'd have people chanting that on their television show. So anyways, the guy pulls a Sharpie out of where he carried his knife. He just happened to have a Sharpie in there. And he hands me his old lady's breast. And he's like this. Here you go. It was like 5 feet away from me. He just handed it like that, still connected to her. So I started signing it with swirly S's and everything. I got really carried away. And that night I went home and I was so scared I had a nightmare of people chanting sign her breast, and I wet the bed. And it scared me. That's why tonight, when I'm done with this show, I won't feel like my life is complete unless you guys are screaming, sign her breast. It just feels natural to me in some sort of Pavlovian response. Almost like listening to Vin Scully's voice on an AM radio. It just calms me down. I brush my teeth, I put the cap back on. I know you hate it when I leave the light on. I pick a book up, I turn the sheets down. I take a drink and a good look around. Put on my peaches and I hop in the bed. I'm half alive, but I feel mostly dead. I tell myself it'll all be alright. Shouldn't think anymore tonight. Dreams last for so long. Even after you're gone, I know you love me. Oh, you were meant for me, and I was meant for you. A little bit louder now. Here goes Big Indy. You were meant for me.
For you.
Yeah. I just really wish that Justin Bieber would cover this song, because I would make a lot of money if he did. And I need some more money. This is what it would sound like if Justin Bieber did it.